What if I told you that Turkey's history isn't just a story of empires, but the story of civilizations rising and collapsing on the very same soil? A land where ancient gods once ruled, mighty sultans forged a global powerhouse, and a single revolution reshaped an entire nation. This is the epic tale of Turkey, a crossroads where the world's greatest powers collided. What if I told you that Turkey is one of the few places on Earth where human history never stopped for even a moment? A land where ancient farmers built the world's first temples, where empires rose, ruled, and fell, and where a single man would later reshape an entire nation forever. This is the unforgettable story of Turkey. Long before Turkey was called Turkey, long before the Ottoman Empire, even long before Rome, this land was already alive. At Göbekli Tepe, over 11,000 years ago, humans carved the world's oldest known temples. These are structures older than the pyramids, older than Stonehenge, older than any written word. Hunter-gatherers gathered here, creating a spiritual site that would forever reshape human history. Then came the Hittites, around 1600 BCE. They built the first major empire of Anatolia, a powerful kingdom that clashed with Egypt and controlled much of the ancient Middle East. Their chariots were legendary. Their treaties with pharaohs were groundbreaking, and for centuries their capital Hattusa was the center of the known world. But like all great powers, they eventually collapsed, leaving a void that would soon be filled. After the Hittites, waves of new civilizations flourished across Anatolia. There were the Phrygians, led by the legendary king Midas, whose touch supposedly turned everything to gold. Then came the Lydians, who gave the world a revolutionary invention, the first coin. This small piece of metal forever changed how we think about money, trade, and value. And of course, there were the Greeks. Their colonies dotted the Aegean coast, birthing philosophy, theatre, and magnificent cities like Ephesus. Think of it, this is the land where Homer may have composed his epics, and where early philosophers first asked the big questions about life and the universe. Eventually, however, all these smaller kingdoms would be overshadowed by the civilization that would come to dominate the ancient world. In the 4th century BCE, Alexander the Great swept through Anatolia, defeating the Persian Empire and spreading Hellenistic culture. Cities were built, trade routes expanded, and Greek became the common language. But Alexander's empire was short-lived. His generals fought over the spoils, and for the next few centuries, Anatolia was a battleground for rival kingdoms. Then, from the west, a new, unstoppable force arrived: Rome. By the 1st century BCE, Rome had conquered the entire region, bringing its legions, its laws, and its engineering marvels. Roads, aqueducts, and amphitheaters sprang up across the land. But Rome's greatest contribution to this story was yet to come. In the year 330 CE, the Roman Emperor Constantine made a decision that would change the course of history. He moved the capital of the Roman Empire from Rome to a small city on the Bosphorus Strait. He named it Nova Roma, New Rome, but it would forever be known as Constantinople, the city of cities. This wasn't just a change of address, it was the birth of a new empire. For over 1,000 years, the Byzantine Empire ruled from these walls, creating a dazzling fusion of Roman governance, Christian identity, and Greek culture. Constantinople became the richest, most powerful city on earth. It was a shining jewel of trade, art, and learning, home to wonders like the Hagia Sophia, a cathedral so grand it was said to have been built by angels. The Byzantines held off invaders, preserved ancient knowledge, and shaped the destiny of both Europe and the Middle East. But no empire, no matter how powerful, lasts forever. And on the eastern horizon, at the edge of Anatolia, a new power was rising. In the 11th century, Turkic tribes from Central Asia began migrating west, seeking new lands and new fortunes. These were the Seljuks, fierce nomadic warriors who had converted to Islam. In the year 1071, at the Battle of Manzikert, the Seljuk Turks defeated the Byzantine army in a stunning victory. This single battle was a moment that changed history forever. It opened the gates of Anatolia to Turkic settlement. Over the next few centuries, the culture of the land began to shift. It slowly became Turkish-speaking and Islamic-influenced, creating a new cultural crossroads. The Seljuks established their own sultanate, building magnificent mosques, schools, and trading posts. But a far greater empire was waiting to be born. In 1299, a small warrior tribe in northwestern Anatolia, led by a charismatic chieftain named Osman I, ignited a spark that would grow into a global superpower. What began as a tiny principality, one of many fighting for survival, soon became an unstoppable force. The Ottomans, named after Osman, grew with astonishing speed, swallowing the Balkans, Greece, the Middle East, and North Africa. They were master strategists, skilled administrators, and possessed a fanatical devotion to their cause. And at the heart of their ambition stood the one prize they desired above all others, Constantinople. In 1453, after a legendary siege, the 21-year-old Sultan Mehmed II, later known as the Conqueror, breached the unbreakable walls of the city. Constantinople became Istanbul, the new capital of the Ottoman Empire. This event sent shockwaves across the Christian world. The 1,000-year-old Byzantine Empire was no more. The Ottomans built a state that would last for over 600 years. Their empire reached its golden age under Suleiman the Magnificent in the 16th century. His reign shaped law, architecture, culture, and military power across 3 continents. Istanbul became a cosmopolitan hub of art and science, and the Ottoman navy controlled the Mediterranean. But as with all great empires, nothing stays mighty forever. By the 19th century, the once unstoppable Ottoman Empire was in decline. It was called the sick man of Europe. It faced constant pressure from European invasions, internal revolts from nationalist groups, crippling economic decline, and a technological gap with the rapidly industrializing West. The empire struggled to modernize, but its reforms were often too little too late. Territories in the Balkans and North Africa broke away. The world was changing faster than the Ottomans could keep up. Then came the final, devastating blow: World War I, allied with Germany. The Ottoman Empire found itself on the losing side. After 4 years of brutal conflict, the empire collapsed. Its lands were invaded and divided by the victorious European powers. It seemed as if the Turkish story was over. But from the ashes of defeat, a new nation was about to be born. In the aftermath of the war, as foreign armies occupied Istanbul and carved up Anatolia, a military hero and visionary leader emerged: Mustafa Kemal. He organized a nationalist resistance and fought a grueling war of independence against the occupying forces. Against all odds, he was victorious. In 1923, Mustafa Kemal, now known as Atatürk or Father of the Turks, abolished the 600-year-old Sultanate and founded the Republic of Turkey. But Atatürk didn't just form a new government. He launched a series of sweeping, radical reforms to transform the nation. He abolished the caliphate, separating religion from the state. He adopted new legal codes based on European models. He promoted secularism in public life, modernized the education system, and replaced the Arabic script with a new Latin alphabet, making literacy more accessible. Crucially, he empowered women, giving them new rights, including the right to vote and hold office, long before many Western countries. Atatürk didn't just build a state, he reshaped an entire national identity. Turkey emerged more modern, more unified, and more connected to the global world. And yet, its incredible past Roman, Byzantine, Seljuk, and Ottoman remained deeply woven into the nation's soul. From the mid-20th century onward, modern Turkey faced its own set of challenges. The nation navigated a turbulent path marked by military coups, rapid urbanization that transformed its cities, and dramatic economic shifts. It found a new place in the world order, joining NATO in 1952 and becoming a key Cold War ally. The country wrestled with new political movements and the constant tension between its secular foundations and its religious heritage. In recent decades, Turkey has re-emerged as a major regional power. It is deeply involved in global diplomacy, trade, and energy politics. Its culture, from television dramas to its cuisine, has gained a massive international following. Yet the questions that have defined Turkey for centuries remain. The struggle between East and West, secularism and religion, modernity and tradition continues to shape its destiny. Turkey continues to stand at the crossroads, not just of geography, but of identity. So, after thousands of years of empires, revolutions, and rebirth, we're left with a question. Which single moment in this country's long, dramatic story do you think changed everything? Was it the founding of Constantinople, the Battle of Manzikert, the conquest of 1453, or Atatürk's modern republic? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this journey through history, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more stories about the world's most fascinating places.